The tragic murder of Lindsey Buziak happened on February 2nd, 2008. To this date, in 2024, over 15 years after the murder happened, this murder has not been solved, and there's a lot of misinformation out there about this case. But we can tell you this: no arrests have been made related to this murder, and there is plenty of speculation regarding why that may be. Sabrina Unke was one of Lindsey's closest friends. They met in elementary school. Back in 2010, just a couple years after Lindsey's tragic death, this is what Sabrina had to say.
Too much time has passed. It's been over 2.5 years, and this needs to be in the forefront of people's minds still. This is unsolved.
Lindsey introduced Sabrina to Dallas Clark and Andrea Lalani in elementary school. Ever since elementary school, the four of them weren't the best of friends. They find strength in one another as they remember the night of Lindsey's murder.
The evening was actually my birthday. She was supposed to have been at my birthday party and never showed up.
The horrific way in which their friend died has been very hard for them to deal with, to say the least. They've speculated about who committed such an atrocious crime, yet they have no theories that they are willing to speak publicly about. I will go into some theories that to many sound like strong possibilities in resolving this crime later in this video and in videos to come. For right now, I just want to introduce you to this case and to Lindsey Buziak. Among those tirelessly advocating for justice for Lindsey, among those who are working towards finding an arrest that can be made to resolve this unsolved murder case, is her father, Jeff Buziak. Mr. Buziak has been working around the clock, from what I can tell, for over 15 years to find those who committed this horrific crime against his daughter so they can face justice. In a recent interview I listened to from 2018, Jeff spoke about his commitment to his beautiful daughter and how he has lived his life in such a way so he can dedicate virtually all of his time and energy to finding justice for Lindsey. If you know anything about this case, if you have any information that might possibly be related to this case, I implore you to contact the appropriate authorities and also to contact Jeff Buziak himself with any leads that you may have. I will provide contact information for both the authorities and for Mr. Buziak at the end of this video and also in the description box. Each year, on the anniversary of Lindsey's murder, her father and a group of people who care about Lindsey, who have loved ones who were victims of a violent crime, or those who just care about justice in general, this group of people marches 17.5 kilometers in the area of Victoria, Canada, in the area of where Lindsey's life was taken. It is their hope that this march will continue to bring awareness to the unsolved murder of Lindsey Buziak, and ultimately it will result in a fruitful lead that leads to an arrest. There's a $500,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest of the perpetrators in this case. At the time of her murder, Lindsey Buziak was only 24 years old. By all accounts, Lindsey was described as a young woman who could light up the room. Intelligent, vivacious, driven, and witty are some of the words used to describe Miss Buziak. Lindsey Buziak was a budding real estate agent in beautiful Greater Victoria area of Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada. Specifically, and this becomes very important in the story of Lindsey Buziak, Lindsey was a resident of Saanich, a bedroom community with a population of about 115,000. So let's talk about the crime. There are many things that are known about this crime in great horrific detail, and then there are things that are not known about this crime at all. It's a real mystery. As a budding real estate agent, Lindsey was hardworking and eager to make a sale and work her way up the ladder in her profession. Selling houses in upscale Victoria was Lindsey's dream. Roughly a year into her job, Lindsey was suddenly approached with a deal many real estate agents wait a lifetime for. Lindsey received a call on her cell phone from prospective clients, and they were making very specific requests. They were looking for $1 million home, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and separate quarters for a maid. The property, they said, should be no more than 15 to 20 minutes outside of town. Now, this may sound like a call straight from heaven if you're a real estate agent, but something was amiss, and Lindsey knew it. First of all, as I mentioned, the prospective clients called Lindsey's cell phone rather than her office phone, which was the number listed on her brochures. The clients also had an extremely tight timeline. They said they were only going to be in town for the weekend, so this sale needed to be closed in 3 days. An over $1 million home closing in 3 days, this was almost unheard of. The prospective clients also had a distinctive but unfamiliar accent that Lindsey couldn't quite put her finger on. To her, she said it sounded something like a Mexican accent. She actually referred to the couple as the Mexicans, just not being able to tell exactly where they were from. Lindsey expressed her suspicion with her father, who was concerned as well. After they talked things over, her father was at ease knowing that Lindsey's boyfriend was going to be meeting her at the property and was going to be looking out for her. Her boyfriend stood at 6'3" tall, 240 pounds, and he was in great shape. He was a hockey player. He was the son of a very wealthy local real estate agent, and well, by all accounts, they came from a good family with some caveats. And again, we're going to get into that a little bit later.
It said that those close to Lindsey, including her 3 friends that we met earlier in this video, were aware that Lindsey was planning on ending her common law relationship with her boyfriend, Jason Zelo. And there is a great deal of controversy where he is concerned.
I know what you might be thinking. The boyfriend had to have done it, right? Let's take a look at the timeline. So Lindsey did decide to show these clients a house that she found in Saanich, Canada. 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, sounded like the exact house they wanted. Just before 4:30 p.m., Lindsey and her boyfriend, Jason Zelo, finished a late lunch at a local spa that they enjoyed. Jason paid the bill. They left. Jason had some work to finish as well. It is presumed that Lindsey went home to change to get ready for the showing. The showing was scheduled for 5:30 p.m. Jason sent a text message telling Lindsey that he would be there in just a little while, just before 5:30 p.m. Lindsey replied, "Okay, gotta go. The Mexicans are here." It is known at 5:29, Lindsey unlocked the front door. Based on the account of eyewitnesses, a couple, a blonde woman, short blonde hair, blonde woman, and a tall man, about 6 foot tall, walked in at exactly 5:30. At 5:41 p.m., Lindsey's BlackBerry made a pocket dial that called a friend she hadn't talked to in a very long time. It is believed that this pocket dial was a direct result of the attack. So at 5:41, by the time this pocket dial was made, the attack was already in place, and autopsies later revealed that Lindsey was stabbed 40 times in her torso from pelvis to neck. It was a truly brutal murder. Jason was spotted around 5:30, right around the time that the prospective clients, or now we know murderers, arrived at the house she was showing. Jason was spotted in security camera footage at a mechanic shop picking up some spare parts. He then picked up a friend of his who he was going to play hockey with that evening, and Jason and the friend drove into the cul-de-sac that the property Lindsey was showing was located on at approximately 5:45 p.m. Jason and his friend saw two figures through the glass portion of the front door. Jason parked his vehicle on the opposite side of the road of the house. He just assumed when he saw those two people that the showing had just started, and he wanted to give Lindsey some space to do her thing. This was her big day to shine. She knew how excited she was about this showing, and he didn't want to interfere by cramping her style. The rear of the vehicle was facing the murder house. Okay, so the back of the vehicle is facing the murder house. Jason and his friend sat in that vehicle for approximately 10 minutes. Jason started to get worried. He sent a text message to Lindsey saying, "Are you okay?" And the text message was not answered. Jason then became very worried, and both he and his friend walked up to the front door and found it was locked. This was at 6:05 p.m. At this point, Jason was in a sheer panic, so he called 911. The text message he sent was, of course, never opened by Lindsey. Jason's friend went around and entered the house through a back door, noticing that there was a French door that was slightly ajar. Jason's friend came in through the back door, through the house, and opened the front door. So upon entering the house, Jason claims he called Lindsey, Lindsey, Lindsey several times, and then he sprinted upstairs to the master bedroom where he found his girlfriend had already been stabbed 40 times in a pool of blood. He proceeded to perform CPR to no avail. When the medics arrived at 6:11 p.m., Lindsey Buziak was pronounced dead. Based on the eyewitness accounts, all that is known about the killers is this sketch of a woman with short blonde hair and a man about 6 foot tall, and they have no composite sketch of this man. And eyewitnesses say this woman was wearing a distinctively colored dress, a dress that looks just like this: red or pink, white and black. Law enforcement later disclosed that this dress was not a designer dress that was hard to get. It could be purchased at a lot of department stores in the area, so it was really difficult to trace the perpetrators based on the eyewitness accounts. So, this is the crime, the murder, the unsolved murder of Lindsey Buziak. It's a terribly tragic crime, and you can understand why her father 13 years later is still tirelessly searching for the murders of his daughter. We're going to go into some theories about this murder in my next video, but it should be known that the Royal Canadian Mounted Police joined efforts to resolve this case from the very beginning. Jeff Buziak and other people close to Lindsey have some real problems with the investigation, and I'm going to discuss the details of the investigation also in successive videos. In early February of 2021, mere months ago, it was announced the United States FBI joined the investigation. Public statements have been made from the agency about the agency's involvement. However, Jeff Buziak believes this is just another PR stunt. Lindsey's father is quoted as saying, quote, "It's a good PR campaign by the Saanich Police. We've heard something from them every year about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, and nothing has happened in 13 years. Can you blame the man? 13 years have gone by, and local police have not made any progress in solving this case. I am so sorry, Mr. Buziak. As a parent myself, I simply cannot imagine." If you have any information that might lead to an arrest in this case, please contact the Saanich Police and also Mr. Jeff Buziak himself. The Saanich Police Department number is listed right here, as well as in the description box. Mr. Buziak's email address is Jeff lindsey.buziak@hotmail.com. It is my hope and the hope of many that an arrest is made in this case and the perpetrators are brought to justice. So Lindsey, her family, and all of those who love her can finally have some peace. We're with you, Lindsey. We're going to keep fighting for you.